Welcome to the Dump Truck Toolbox. I'm Alan, and it's dark 30, about to leave for work. And what's sad is my start time is 90 minutes later than usual, and it's still pitch black out there. So I'm not sure what I'm doing today. I suspect it's asphalt, and that's why they pushed the time back to let things warm up a little bit. But today we're going to be talking GPS as a tool.
Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving. Please proceed to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
So you just heard some of our high-end special effects there. Since I'm going to be talking about GPS, I had my GPS say something to you. We were working a new site, and it's in sort of the further reach of our region, at least in my experience. So I had not been to this site and had not been to this area. We almost always get printed instructions from the broker with the turns, not the mileages. So you don't know how long you're on a given road, but take this road and then turn right on that road, turn left on the next one. And those are very helpful. So when I headed out in the morning, I had the printed directions. I knew the sand pit pretty well, but I went ahead because we have a truck-specific GPS system, and it's supposed to keep you out of roads that have low clearances or where you get into trouble with the weight of the truck crossing a bridge or whatever. So I typed it in, I verified the turn-by-turn directions, the printed ones, against the directions given by the GPS. So I pull into the sand pit office, and I said, I understand you're going to give me directions. And he said, yes, you're going to go to the intersection of two roads, and you're going to pull through the drugstore parking lot to the site. And so I've got my little pad of paper out. Maybe I'll show that to you here too. And so I write down the direction, such as it is. And I'm hoping to get a printed list of turns. And he doesn't offer that, so he's the client. So I pull out of there, go get filled up with sand. A group of us sort of gathered at the exit to the sand pit and headed out in a little convoy. So we're taking several roads, and we cross one of the two named roads that the person at the sand pit had given us. And so I get on the radio and I call the truck in front of me, and I said, aren't we supposed to turn right on this road? Makes sense. That's one of the roads of the intersection we're going to. And he gets back and he says, no, the bridge has weight limit. It'd be a real problem. We could go over it if we were empty, but when we're fully loaded, no, we're not allowed to go over that. That's great. So I'm glad I'm following him. I'm especially glad I'm following him because I had typed in the intersection to the truck GPS, which is supposed to account for truck weights and not send you down a road that you shouldn't go down. So if I had not been following this other driver, I would have been going down this road, and then I went down it later when the truck was empty. But I don't know, a mile or so from the critical bridge is a weight limit sign. And for my specification of truck, I would have been 30 tons overweight, maybe. Like, boy, I am glad I'm not following the GPS. I would have been in trouble. I would have had to find a place to turn around, or I would not drive over the bridge. I don't want to break one of our great bridges. Uh, so I was glad I was following the driver. So the rest of the day, because I'd been on the route, and I had the GPS running, but I ignored it. I wanted to turn right here. Um, but I followed the route back and forth to the sand pit and the work site, and everything was fine. Next morning, we get the same assignment from our dispatcher, which was basically take this truck and go to the sand pit. They'll tell you what to do. And so I'm thinking, it was a little stressful last time. So I asked the dispatcher, good naturedly, I said, are we doing the same thing? And she says, probably, but I don't know. The sand pit is the customer. They'll tell you what to do. So fine. And it was yet another truck, and one that I had not driven since training. So all is good, right? I type the address into the second truck GPS, and I'm a little worried about my timing, so I go ahead and get underway. Don't double check the list of turns in the GPS. Just it's same GPS system, right? So same set of turns, same address, same set of turns. I get underway, and I make it, well, probably not quite halfway there. I'm on the interstate, and it says take exit so and so. And I'm like, that's not right. That's not the way I went yesterday. And there's a reason not to turn on this exit. So I'm like, okay, forget the GPS. I'm going to rely on my memory. And so I go ahead and pass that exit. The exit I think I need to turn on
Turn left now.
is not, it doesn't look right.
Proceed on Carrollton Boulevard.
So I continue on. The GPS eventually finds its way, and it puts me on surface streets. Like, this is not right. Go, 2, 3, 4 blocks, turn right, go a block, turn left, and they're big enough for a truck, but it's not the ideal route. So I don't know what it's thinking. This is not the way to get there. And then it sends me across a bridge over the same body of water that was a problem, the other day, that I did not go over, but it sends me over this bridge, and I'm like, I'm glad I don't have a truck full of sand. I couldn't go over this bridge. But the GPS, which is truck specific, let me down twice. Neither time was it a serious problem, but if I had just blindly followed the GPS the first day, it would have been a safety problem because I would have exceeded the weight limit on that bridge. And then the second day, because I was empty, this other bridge was not an issue. Okay, so bottom line on GPS, it's a great tool, very useful. It's dangerous to rely on it. Let me go through the 4 tools that I can think of that are useful for finding a spot when you're driving a dump truck. I've talked about GPS quite a bit. Printed directions. In my experience, they've been about 98% accurate. There was one set we got where it said turn left, and I looked and I could see I was supposed to turn right, and there was another road right up there. But otherwise the printed directions have been, like I said, about 98% accurate. That's number 2. Number 3, following an experienced driver. And we've got great drivers they're helpful. Um, you know, if I can get their attention and say, I don't know where I'm going, they will not only allow me to follow them, they'll slow down, make sure I stay behind them. So experienced drivers, and then my own knowledge and memory. My knowledge of the area is a weak link right now. I'm driving across a major body of water to get home. I live on the wrong side of the water for most of the work we do, and so I don't know our work area well enough. GPS, I've talked about some of the problems with it. Um, can't always find a driver to follow. Not all of our trucks have two-way radios, so that doesn't work all the time. So ideally, I'm going to have 2 or 3 sources, and then I'm very, very comfortable. You know, printed directions, lining up with the GPS, we're golden. Um, you know, my knowledge and memory, but I'm following an experienced driver at the same time, we're golden. And so this is why in your toolbox, you don't want to rely on a single tool. And I've got a couple of fun little videos. One of them is, if all you own is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. So here it is. Um, you know, if you have a limited selection of tools, if you only have one tool, well, that's the tool you got to use. And so with direction finding, 4 tools. And when one's weak, maybe another one will pick up the slack. And when 2 or 3 align, then you can have a fair level of confidence. And that's one of the fundamental uh, uh, principles that we have here at the Dump Truck Toolbox. Fill your toolbox so you're more likely to have the right tool for the job. So as always, I encourage you to like this video if you found it useful or interesting. I also encourage you to subscribe. That helps other people find our channel and gets more people in the conversation. Be safe out there. Don't get distracted by your GPS. Don't type on it while you're driving down the road. And hope to see you soon here on the Dump Truck Toolbox.